Good evening, students. I hope you're able to hear me, right? Am I audible?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Okay, good. So we'll get started. So what was the last topic we were discussing? Can someone tell me? What was the last topic we were discussing, guys? Last class, I remember starting the concept of refraction of light and explaining the laws and its applications in different scenarios, right? Is there any doubt? And we did this problems also. So shall we move on to the next concept?
Yes, sir.
So the concept is refraction by spherical mirrors. Okay, like how we had the concept of reflection by mirrors, we have refraction by spherical lenses. So let's start with that. See, basically, like how we had spherical mirrors, there are also spherical lenses. Okay, so basically, what do you mean by lens? If you have to give a definition to lens, how would you do it? See, for example, you would have seen people wearing specs, right? So spectacles. So those who are wearing spectacles can also, you can also say that they are wearing lens, right? I'm not talking about the contact lens. So the spectacles are basically made up of lens, right? So how are the lens actually? If you look at the spectacles, they are actually like this in the shape, right? Means if the light is coming from this side, if the eye of the person is here, are they able to see it or not? Are they able to see the light or not? So the person's eye is here, and this is the lens, and light is incident from the right hand side. Okay. So will this light be able to reach this person's eye, and will the person be able to see what is there on the other side of the lens or not?
Yes, sir. They will be able to.
They will obviously be able to see it, right? So they will obviously be able to see it. So can I say lens is nothing but basically a refracting surface? Okay. So basically a refracting surface where at least one of the surfaces is curved is what we can call it as a lens. So when you talk about a refracting surface where at least one of the surfaces is curved is what we can call it as lens. See, if I just want to ask you a few questions. Tell this thing to me, guys. So if I take two shapes like this, tell me whether this is a concave mirror or a convex mirror.
Concave.
But you should have asked.
Sir, we cannot say, sir.
Cannot say anything, right? Because I didn't shade any of the sides. Depending on which side you are going to shade, it is going to be called as a concave or a convex. So this is called as a concave mirror because the reflecting surface is concave in nature. And this will be called as the convex structure because the reflecting surface is convex in nature. Okay. So when I say at least one of the surfaces is curved, generally they should be a part of the sphere. They should be taken from a part of the sphere. That is why it is called as spherical lenses. So basically, see, if I draw a lens like this, okay, where light is able to go this side and come out on the other side. How it is getting bent and all those things, we will see it later. Okay, but I'm saying that you are able to see on both the sides, means both the surfaces are transparent in nature. If you have this kind of a transparent refracting surface, then this can be called as a lens without any doubt. But what should be the special name given to this shape? What do you think is a special name that we need to give to this particular shape?
Sir, can you please repeat again, sir?
Sorry,
Can you please repeat again, sir?
I'm saying this is a refracting surface. Okay. So what did I say? Lens is? Lens is a refracting surface where at least one of the surfaces is curved. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If that is the case, I drew a lens which looks like the shape that I shown here. For this particular lens, what is the name you are going to give is what I asked.
So convex lens.
So how did you say it is convex lens? Which side did you take as the reference to tell it is convex?
So the outer side.
Yes. So the outer side is convex in nature, right? Basically, this is called as biconvex lens. Bi means two. Convex is the surface which is bulged outside. So biconvex lens is what is simply called as convex lens also. Okay. Suppose I take a shape like this. What do I call this?
Concave lens.
I can call it as biconcave or simply a concave lens. Right. Now, these are the two types of lens that are there in your syllabus. But I just want to ask you one more question. Can I call this also as a lens? Can I call? Yes or no? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Yes, sir.
You can call it as lens because what is the definition of lens telling us? At least one of the surfaces should be curved. One is straight and the other is curved. So if it is, it can be called as a lens. What is the name you are going to give to it? I'll tell you, you can make a note. It's called as plano convex lens. You're able to understand? Means left side is plane, right side is convex. In a similar context, tell me what will be the name of this lens, guys?
Plano concave.
Yes, it is called as plano concave lens. If suppose I draw a lens like this, then this can be called as concavo convex lens. So you're able to understand? So this is how the naming structure is being given to all these devices or all these lenses. So our interest of study in this chapter or in this part of this chapter is going to be about how these lenses are able to form images for the objects placed at different locations. Okay. So before that, let's recollect one important point. With respect to a mirror, how many ray diagrams did we draw in total? With respect to a mirror, how many ray diagrams did we draw? We would have drawn 8. 6 for concave and 2 for convex. In a similar way, we will see how to form the ray diagram for lens also. But before that, what we need to say is, what are all the different parts of the mirror, of the lens, is what we need to see. Okay. So basically, when you take lens, it has two spherical surfaces, right? Guys, if there is any issue that is arising with respect to my voice, please let me know immediately, okay? If there is any breaking or something like that, please let me know immediately. So if I take this particular surface, it is a part of some sphere, right? So this particular surface will have the center of curvature somewhere over here, okay? And this particular curved surface will have the center of curvature on the left hand side. I hope this point is clear. So unlike a mirror, a lens will have two centers of curvature. Okay. So what do you mean by center of curvature of a lens? Center of curvature is basically the center of the sphere from which this lens is formed. Right. Secondly, what can you call this line that is joining both the centers? What can you call this line as?
The principal axis.
Yes. So an imaginary straight line passing through the two centers of curvature is what is called as principal axis. Secondly, you need to know what is an optical center. Okay. The center of the lens is what is called as the optical center. Okay. It is not the center of the sphere from which from which the lens is formed. The center of the lens is itself is called as the optical center. Okay, this point is called as the optical center. Okay. So central point of the lens is called optical center. It is usually represented by symbol O. Now we need to understand what do we mean by principal focus. So what do you mean by focus, guys? With respect to a mirror, what did we see the take a set of rays parallel to the principal axis. Okay, when you take a set of rays parallel to the principal axis, after reflection, where is the image formed? Guys, with respect to a mirror, when you take a ray parallel to the principal axis, after reflection, they meet at a point on the principal axis, and that point is called as the focus. Do you guys remember this? In a
Yes, sir.
similar way, if you take, with respect to the lens also, if you take the rays parallel to the principal axis, okay, the rays will start getting converged and they meet at a particular point on the principal axis, which we call it as focus. So this is what we call it as the principal focus. Are you guys able to understand? So it is there, see, a ray of light through the optical center of the, okay, I'll tell all those things. Okay. So are you guys clear with this point? Similarly, with respect to a concave lens, what will happen is when the rays are taken parallel to the principal axis, after refraction, they get diverged. Okay, they get diverged in such a way that these refracted rays are never going to meet in real time. Hence, you have to project them in the backward direction where you can see a point where they are going to meet. And that point is called as the focus of that particular lens. Okay. Keeping all this in mind, you're going to frame schools or the image
So your voice
formation
is
by
breaking.
lenses.
Your voice is breaking.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Are you able to see my screen? Is it better now?
Sir,
Guys,
we could
is it
not
better
see
now?
your screen, sir.
Right? Now you're able to see, right?
Yes, sir.
Is my voice better now?
Yes, sir.
So, now listen. With all these points in mind, we will draw the image formation by lenses. Okay. So, how do lenses form images? They form images by refracting light. How do lenses form image? What is their nature? Let us study this for convex lens first. So, I would like to give you certain points. Rules to draw ray diagrams for lenses. So let us see what are all the rules to draw the ray diagram for lenses. Okay. First, ray, or I will take it like this. Incident ray parallel to the principal axis. So incident ray parallel to the principal axis means the object is at infinity. Right? When the incident ray is parallel to principal axis, what will happen to refraction? After refraction, will pass through whom? Will pass through the focus. Second, when an object is placed at focus, after refraction, passes parallel to the principal axis. Okay. Third, ray along the principal axis or ray through the optical center, ray through the optical center travels without any deviation. So when the ray is passing through the optical center, it travels without any deviation. Okay, you need to have all these points in mind to draw the ray diagrams. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first write down the heading as image formation by convex lens. See, generally this point will not be given. Convex lens is also called as converging lens. Okay. So please make a note of this point. Converging lens. Okay. So basically, you have points like this. This is the optical center. You have F1 here. You have C1 here. You have F2 here. You you have C2 here. Remember, the distance from the optical center to the center of curvature is R, and the distance from the optical center to the focus is the focal length. So I hope this point is clear, even without saying you know this. So distance from the optical center to the center of curvature on the right hand side is the radius of curvature, and the distance from the center of curvature to the focus is what is called as the focal length. Okay. So having these points in mind, I would like to mention that the radius of curvature is still equal to 2f for thin lens. So when I say thin lens, this distance d should be very small. Okay. The distance d is supposed to be very small for it to be called as thin lens. Okay. I hope everybody made a note of all these points. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now you guys tell me, with respect to a convex lens, can you guys tell me why is it called as converging lens? Because if you look at the definition of focus, see here. If you look at the definition of focus, if you take the rays parallel to the principal axis, after refraction, what is happening to them? They are getting converged and they meet at a point. Converged means they come close to each other and they meet at a point. Right. So that is why it is called as converging lens, whereas this is called as the diverging lens. Now, how many ray diagrams do you think? So generally, whenever the rays are getting converged, right, they have the tendency to form real images. Generally, whenever rays are tending to get converged, they form real images. So generally, for what was a mirror which was forming more number of real images? Concave or?
Concave.
Yeah. So concave mirror, how many ray diagrams did we have? Check your notes and tell me. For concave mirror, how many?
6.
We had 6. In a similar way, for convex lens also, we will have 6 ray diagrams. Okay. So if you take a ray parallel to the principal axis, what is going to happen to them? After reflection, the rays will meet at the focus. Right? So what is the first point? When the object is at which point? When the object is at infinity, where is the image formed, guys? At
F.
focus. Right? What is the nature of the image? It is real. What is the magnification? It is highly
Diminished.
diminished. Okay, here I want to tell you one important point, that with respect to a lens, if the object and image are on either side of it. So with respect to a lens, if the object and the image are on either side of it, then we call it as a real image. Whereas with respect to a mirror, they both should be on the same side for it to be called as real. Okay, please make a note of this point.
Sir, can you repeat once more, sir?
Yeah, sure. For a lens, if the image and the object are on either side of the lens, it is called as a real image. Whereas for mirror, if object and image are on the same side, then it is called as real image. These are all very small observations. Okay. but these are all crucial. Questions can be asked based on this. Shall I proceed? So now you guys tell me what should be the second position where the object is placed.
B on C.
Very good. So you place it beyond C. Okay, when you place it beyond C, let's see what is going to happen. Now, if I place an object here where I'm calling this as C1, this as F1, F2, C2. If I place an object here of height AB, then if I take a ray parallel to the principal axis, what will happen? After refraction, any ray parallel to the principal axis will I already told you. What is the first rule? Any ray considered parallel to the principal axis after refraction will
Pass through the
pass.
focus.
Yes, it will pass through the focus. Never forget the arrow mark, okay? Similarly, if you take any ray through the optical center, how will they pass?
They pass without deviating.
They pass without any deviation. So this is where the image is formed, A dash, B dash. Okay. If the height of the object is taken as h naught, the height of the image is hi. Now you tell me image location between F2 and C2. Nature, real and real images are always
Correct.
no. Look at it. Is it direct? Up, down, upside down? No. Upside down is inverted. Only virtual images are always erect. What is the magnification? It is diminished. Okay, the magnification will be diminished. My diagram is not to the exact scale, but I just want to show it to you here. This is the one. Okay, this height h naught, this height is hi. H naught is greater than hi. Clear? So when you place it beyond C, you guys tell me where should the object be placed next?
At C.
Yes. So when you place it at C, what will happen? A ray parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through the focus. Okay. A ray through the optical center will travel without any deviation. So the image will be formed at C2 itself. This height of the object, this is height of the image. As I told you, my diagram is not to the perfect scale. So it might look different, but this is how the answer is going to be. So what is going to be the image location?
At C.
At C. Nature,
Real and inverted.
right? What about the magnification?
Same size as that of the object.
It is of the same size as that of the object. Okay, moving on to the next part. So what will happen? What will be the next position?
Between C and F.
Very good. Between F and C. So if I take this distance as AB, then if a ray is taken parallel to the principal axis, after reflection will pass through the focus. Then through the optical center, if you consider another ray, so where is the image formed? It is formed beyond C. So this is height of the object, this is height of the image. Okay. Now tell me, guys, image location beyond C. Nature, real and inverted. Magnification, what is the magnification?
Enlarged.
Magnified.
Sorry, it is enlarged. That's right. It is enlarged. Okay. Next is at F.
At F.
So when you place it at F, what do you think is going to happen? Right. And the ray through the optical center will travel without any deviation. So what will happen, guys? Where is the image formed?
At infinity.
Very good. What about the nature? The real and inverted. What about the magnification? It is highly enlarged. Right? Magnification is highly enlarged. What will be the last point, guys? Between F and optical center. Between F and optical center. O. So if this is the focus, if I place it here, what do you think will happen? need some more space. Okay. If I place it here, if I take a ray parallel to the principal axis, it will pass through this focus. This is F1, this is F2. A ray through the optical center will travel like this. So these rays are getting diverged. So since they are getting diverged, is there a possibility of them to meet again? Obviously, no. Right? So what are we supposed to do? Extend these rays in the backward direction. And you will be able to see that there is a virtual image being formed. Okay. If this is height of the object and this is HI, guys, are you able to understand? So this is the only location, only place where you will have a virtual image. This is HI and H0. Clear, guys? Now, where is the image location? Where is the image location? You just write it as on the same side of the object. Okay. What is the nature?
Virtual.
Virtual. So virtual images are always erect. Virtual and erect. Then what about magnification? It's just
Highly magnified.
not highly magnified, it is just magnified. That's it. You call it as enlarged. That's it. So highly enlarged is only for this. Only when the images are formed at infinity, we call it as highly enlarged, or else you generally call it as enlarged only. So just an extra information. You guys know what is a simple microscope? Or you would have heard about magnifying lens,
Yes, sir.
right? So there will be something like this. Let me see if I'm able to find it. 1 minute. You would have seen this in the labs. This is called as compound microscope. Okay. I'll draw and show better. So you would have seen something like this. It will be in the shape of a lollipop. So here you will have lens, right? Here you will have a handle, right? So this particular diagram can also be called as a simple microscope or magnifying lens. You learn about it in detail in your 12th standard. As of now, you need not worry. If you know the location of images, that is more than sufficient. Okay. So I just wanted to show you all these things. Okay. So there are 6 ray diagrams with respect to convex lens. Then what about the ray diagrams with respect to concave? So the heading is image formation by concave lens. So what do you think? First, you will place the object at infinity. So when you place it at infinity, the ray which is parallel to the principal axis will pass in such a way that the final image tend to appear at this point, which is called as f1. Okay, at infinity. So image location is at focus, that is at f1. Nature, virtual, and erect. What about the magnification? It is highly diminished. Okay, I hope it is clear. So it is highly diminished. Now, what about the object placed here? So apart from infinity, you place the object between any 2 points, then you can observe that it always forms a virtual image which is enlarged, which is diminished. So here it is f1, here it is c1. Suppose you place it here for the time being. When you take a ray parallel to the principal axis, after refraction, will go and pass like this. And the second ray through the optical center will travel without any deviation. So where do they tend to meet? They tend to meet at this point. Right? So where is the image location? It is between the optical center and the focus. And what is the nature? Virtual and erect. Then what can you say? What can you say about the magnification, guys?
Diminished.
You just say diminished. That's it. Don't use the word highly diminished. Okay. So these are all the ray diagrams with respect to all the lenses. So there are totally 8 ray diagrams which you need to practice. So throughout this chapter, if you observe, how many ray diagrams do you have? You have a total of 16 ray diagrams that you need to practice and need to ensure that you remember them as well. Okay, you need to ensure that you remember them as well. Okay. So the next concept is sign convention for spherical lenses. Like how you had sign convention for spherical mirrors, we have sign convention for spherical lenses also. Okay. So you can always guess it. In the case of spherical mirror, which one did we take as the origin? Which point did we take as origin? It was the pole. In the case of lens, we will take the optical center as origin. So observe, guys. If I take this kind of a lens, if I take optical center as the origin, then you will break it into 4 parts. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. So you guys tell me what should be the sign convention. Any distance measured on the right will be positive and any distance measured on the left will be negative. Similarly, any distance measured in the upward direction will be positive. Any distance measured in the downward direction will be negative. Am I clear with this? Same is the case with respect to concave mirror as well. Okay. So based on all these things, I just want to tell you 2 things, that always U is negative. Always U is negative. Whether you're dealing with a problem of convex lens or a concave lens, whether you're dealing with a concave lens or a convex lens, the image distance is always, the object distance is always negative. Okay. But focal length, that is F for convex is positive and F for concave is negative. F for convex lens is positive and F for concave lens is negative. Did you guys make a note of all these points? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the last concept of this chapter is lens formula and magnification. So what was mirror formula, guys? 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F, right? If you replace that plus with a minus sign, that becomes the lens formula. So 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F, or this can also be written as 2 divided by R. So please make a note, 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F or 2 divided by R. And lastly, you don't need the derivation of this. The derivation is dealt in 12th standard. Okay. If you want to know how the derivation is done, it is based on the concept of similarities of triangles. So let's not waste time by finding all those things. So you have to learn it without derivation. And this lens formula is general, means it is applicable for both concave, not both. It is applicable for concave, convex, plano-convex, plano-concave, convexo-concave, concavo-convex, any kind of a lens you talk about, this formula is generalized. So the only expression you are supposed to remember with any lens in this world is 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. That's it. And when you're applying this formula, the only thing you need to ensure is you apply the formula with right sign convention. Okay. And remember, sign convention is not taken for what quantities? Sign convention is not taken for, I already told this in mirror formula. You should not take the sign convention for unknown quantities. Okay. Other than that, you can take the sign convention for everything. So that is lens formula. And the last formula that you need to know is magnification. So how do you define the magnification? How did we define magnification in the case of a mirror? Anybody? It was defined as the ratio of something. Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please tell me. How do we take? How did we define magnification in the case of a mirror? It is defined as ratio of height of the image to the height of the object. The same definition is applicable here also. So as I would have told you there, this type of magnification is also called as linear magnification. Okay, it is defined as the ratio of height of the image to the height of the object. Secondly, magnification in terms of image distance and object distance in case of lens is given as height of image by height of object. This is also written as V divided by U for lens. You guys remember what did we write for mirror? We wrote it as minus V by U. Right? So here it is plus V by U. So that is all with this chapter, guys. Only thing is we need to know how. Oh, there is one more formula that I will explain. So, but before that, we will do some problems. We'll do some problems. So there is a concave lens of focal length 15 centimeter. So focal length is equal to 15 centimeter. Now tell me, for a concave lens, is focal length positive or negative? For a
Negative, sir.
concave lens, it is negative. I told you here, no, for a concave lens, focal length is negative. Okay. Then what about the distance from which at what distance should the object from the lens be placed so that it forms an image of 10 centimeter from the lens? So u is equal to, u is equal to what? So that the image is at a distance of 10 centimeter from the lens. Okay, here one thing by default we know, wherever we see concave lens, is the image going to be formed on the same side of the lens or same side of the object or other side of the object for concave?
Same side of the lens, sir.
So same side of the object, not the lens. Okay, will be formed on the same side of the object. I told you object distance is always negative because object is always kept on the left hand side. So for a concave lens, can I conclude that the image distance is also negative? This is a very crucial point. If you don't know this point, you will definitely get wrong answer. So the image distance in this case, though it is given as 10 centimeter, if you forget to put the minus sign, the whole answer is going to be wrong. So what are we supposed to find? We need to find u and the magnification produced by the lens. Shall we proceed? So what is the only formula, guys? 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. Okay. 1 by v is minus 10 minus 1 by u is unknown. So you don't apply any sign convention, is equal to 1 divided by minus 15. So 1 divided by u will be how much? 1 by 15 minus 1 by 10. So I took 1 by u to the other side, 1 by 15 to the left hand side. So when you take LCM and solve, 10 minus 15 divided by 150, it is minus 3 divided by 150 is 1 by u. So u will be how much? It is minus 50 centimeter. So if you place the object at a distance of minus 50 centimeter, then the image is formed at a distance of 10 centimeter. Did I make any mistake? Or minus
Sir,
5?
it's
Sorry.
minus 5.
Yeah. Minus 5, then this will be minus 30. Right? So it is going to be minus 30 centimeter. Then what can you say about the magnification? Magnification is v divided by u. So the formula is v by u, but when you're applying the values in the formula for known quantities, you need to apply sign convention. So it is minus 10 divided by minus 30. Both are in centimeter. Centimeter will get cancelled. 1 by 3 is the magnification. Means it is plus 0.33. So which is less than 1. So I have already told this thing to you. Whenever the magnification is less than 1, the image is said to be, the image is said to be diminished. Okay. The image is said to be diminished.
Sir, you told that sign convention can't be applied for unknown quantities, sir. Like,
but unknown is not known. Here, v and u both are known, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So known quantities, I applied the sign convention.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Next. Am I clear? Can I rub this? Did you copy?
Yes, sir.
Next. There is a 2 centimeter tall object. So height of the object is 2 centimeter. So height of the object by default is positive. Is placed perpendicular to the principal axis of convex lens of focal length. How many centimeter? 10 centimeter. So what is the sign convention for focal length of a convex lens?
Positive, sir.
So it is positive. The distance of the object from the lens is 15 centimeter. So u is equal to 15 centimeter with a negative sign. Find the nature, position, and size of the image. Also find its magnification. So 1 by v minus 1 by u is 1 by f. 1 by V minus 1 by U is minus 15 is equal to 1 by F is 10. So 1 by V is equal to 1 by 10 minus 1 by 15. So V is how much, guys? It is 30 centimeter. So here plus sign indicates that the object and image are on the other side of the lens. Are on the other side of the lens. Okay. Hence, what is the nature of the image? It is real. So real images are always inverted. Then what can you say about its magnification? Magnification is V divided by U. V is plus 30, U is minus 15. So answer will be minus 2. There is no unit for it, okay? Minus 2. So since 2 is a number greater than 1, it is an enlarged image. Did you guys understand how I concluded that it is enlarged? The magnification came
Yes,
out as
sir.
minus. Yes, the magnification came out as minus 2. Minus sign indicates the image is inverted. Whereas, what will be the magnitude of it? Means modulus of minus 2 is going to be 2. So since 2 is a value greater than 1, the image is said to be enlarged. Okay. So, but did they ask the size of the? They ask the size of the image. So to find the size of the image, this will be equal to height of the image by height of the object. So minus 2 is equal to height of the image by height of the object is how much? 2 centimeters. Which implies height of the image is minus 4 centimeters. Okay. So since the chapter is almost over, I don't want to dump you with this power of lens also, that I will take it in the next class and we'll solve some exercise problems. Okay, with that, this chapter is over. So since it is almost over, okay, so assume only power of lens is going to take maximum 20 minutes for you to learn. So I suggest you all to start practicing, and next week you will have a test in this chapter. So I'll send you an
Yes, sir.
assignment. I'll send you an assignment. You need to work on the assignment and ensure and be ready for the test. Don't say that power of lens is not over. Power of lens, it is going to take only 20 minutes. Even the 20 minutes, if you understand, you can write the test next day also. So it's not a very big concept, but only thing is, since I've taught so many things today, I don't want to dump you with that power of lens also. That is the reason I'm holding it back. So start studying and be prepared. Okay, that is one thing. And secondly, see, for a few more weeks, my physics class will be held at this time only, because I have some work from 5:30 onwards. In fact, to be honest, after 5 itself, I have some work. So we'll be preponing the classes, physics classes, to this time itself, 4 to 5. Okay, just an update. I'll give you an official information also in the WhatsApp. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any other doubt from today's class?
No, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, then we can wind up.
Yes, sir.
See
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.